Have you ever felt completely drained, like life has taken everything from you, and no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to get better? What if I told you that there's one simple dua, a prayer so powerful that it can revive your heart, restore your strength, and turn your weakness into courage? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change your life forever. Have you ever felt completely broken, like life has drained every ounce of your energy, leaving you helpless and hopeless? Maybe you've tried to keep going, pushing through the pain, only to find yourself weaker than before, burdened by fear, doubt, and endless questions about why things aren't going your way. But there is hope, a hope so profound that it can transform your heart and soul, and it begins with one simple dua, a prayer that connects you directly to Allah, the one who knows your struggles before you even speak of them. When you make this dua with sincerity, it's not just words on your lips. It's a conversation that reaches the highest heavens, a lifeline that pulls you out of despair and fills you with courage, clarity, and resilience. Weakness is not a flaw. It's a sign that your soul is ready for divine support, that your heart is ready to surrender, and that Allah is preparing you for a strength you cannot yet imagine. Through this dua, your fears begin to fade, your burdens feel lighter, and your mind gains the clarity to see solutions where once there was only confusion. It heals the wounds that weigh down your spirit, restores hope where despair took root, and surrounds your heart with divine protection against negativity, doubt, and anxiety. Most importantly, this dua transforms your weakness into a source of power, patience, and wisdom, showing you that every challenge, every setback, and every struggle has a purpose, and that nothing in your life is wasted when you turn to Allah with sincerity and faith. Today, if you feel lost, defeated, or empty, know this: there is a dua that can change everything, that can lift what feels impossible to carry, and that can turn your weakest moments into the foundation of your greatest strength. All you need to do is speak from your heart, trust in Allah's mercy, and let this prayer guide you toward a life of courage, hope, and unwavering faith. Before we can truly find strength, before we can genuinely rise above the challenges that life throws at us, we must first take a moment to confront a truth that many of us shy away from: our weakness. And I don't mean weakness in the superficial sense of being physically tired or temporarily overwhelmed. I'm talking about the deep, silent weakness that creeps into our hearts and minds, the weakness that whispers doubt when we pray, the weakness that makes us question our worth, our purpose, and our ability to carry on. So many of us try to mask this weakness, try to ignore it, try to push it away with false smiles, empty distractions, or endless busyness. But the truth is that until we recognize it, until we confront it honestly, we cannot begin to seek the true strength that only Allah can provide. Recognizing our weakness is not a sign of failure. It is, in fact, one of the most courageous acts a human being can do. It is a declaration of honesty before the Creator, a silent acknowledgement that we are limited, imperfect, and in need of divine support. Imagine a person trying to lift a heavy weight without realizing how heavy it is. They may strain, struggle, and injure themselves, unaware that the true solution is not to fight blindly, but to first understand the magnitude of the burden and then seek the proper guidance and support to carry it. In the same way, when we acknowledge our spiritual, emotional, or even mental weaknesses, we open the door for Allah's guidance, His mercy, and His power to enter into our lives in ways that we could never achieve on our own. Consider the times in your own life when you felt utterly powerless. Perhaps it was a moment when grief overwhelmed you, when failure seemed permanent, when a relationship broke down, or when your own mistakes piled up so high that you couldn't see a way forward. In those moments, did you pretend everything was fine, brushing aside your pain with a quick prayer, a casual smile, or the excuse that this too shall pass? Or did you sit quietly, perhaps alone, acknowledging the heaviness in your heart, admitting to yourself and to Allah that you felt weak, uncertain, and in need of help? There is a profound difference between pretending to be strong and truly recognizing your weakness. The former is temporary, hollow, and often leaves us feeling more empty than before. The latter is transformative, sacred, and the first step on a path towards strength that is rooted not in arrogance or self-reliance, but in humility, sincerity, and faith. When we talk about recognizing weakness, we must also understand what it truly entails. It is more than just admitting, I feel tired or I cannot do this. It is about looking deeply into the recesses of your heart, examining your fears, your doubts, and your limitations, and being willing to say, I cannot do this on my own, but I believe that Allah can if I turn to Him sincerely. This process requires courage because it is human nature to fear vulnerability, to resist admitting that we are not in control, that our plans might fail, or that our strength is insufficient. But let me tell you, it is in the very act of acknowledging our weakness that Allah begins to prepare a strength far greater than anything we could imagine. He says in the Quran, Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear, reminding us that our struggles, while difficult, are never beyond our capacity, but only if we seek His help with honesty and humility. The moment we recognize our weakness, we align ourselves with this divine promise. We are no longer fighting blindly against the currents of life. Instead, we are ready to navigate them with divine guidance. There is also a spiritual dimension to recognizing weakness. Too often, we mistake our worldly successes and temporary energy for true strength, thinking that if we appear confident, capable, or in control, we are strong. But Allah measures strength differently. True strength, as the scholars teach us, is the ability to remain steadfast in faith during trials, to turn to Him sincerely when the heart is heavy, and to persist in patience and prayer when every human instinct tells you to give up. Recognizing our weakness allows us to understand this difference. When you admit that you are spiritually weak, perhaps your prayer feels distant, your heart feels hardened, or your deeds are inconsistent, you open the door for Allah's mercy to heal, guide, and strengthen you. It is like admitting that your body is hungry before you eat. Only when the need is recognized can nourishment be effective. Without recognizing the hunger, even the most sumptuous meal may go unnoticed. Similarly, without recognizing our weakness, the most powerful dua, the most sincere repentance, and the most heartfelt effort may not fully reach the heart, because we are still clinging to illusions of self-sufficiency. I want you to think about the stories of the prophets, peace be upon them, who are the ultimate examples for humanity. Even they, the strongest of men and women in character and faith, openly recognized their dependence on Allah. Prophet Yunus, when trapped in the belly of the whale, did not try to rely on his own cunning or strength to escape. He called out in absolute humility and recognition of his helplessness. There is no deity exalted, are you? Are you? Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers. In that moment of complete acknowledgement of his weakness, Allah responded. The darkness surrounding him lifted, the impossible became possible, and he emerged stronger, wiser, and closer to his Lord. This is a powerful lesson for us. The first step towards strength is always acknowledging our weakness, for only then can we be truly empowered by divine support. Now let us bring this closer to our own lives. Perhaps you are facing financial difficulties, health challenges, family problems, or emotional pain. Maybe you feel weak because your efforts to succeed, to heal, or to grow have not yielded the results you hoped for. It is easy in those moments to blame yourself, to feel ashamed, or to retreat into denial. But recognizing your weakness does not mean giving up. On the contrary, it means being honest enough to say, cannot handle this alone. I need Allah. I need His guidance. I need His mercy. It is a spiritual awakening, a moment of clarity, and the beginning of a journey where true strength is cultivated. When you approach Allah with sincerity, acknowledging your limitations, He meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. And in this meeting, you find the courage to move forward, to take steps you never imagined possible, and to rise above what once felt insurmountable. There is also an emotional power in recognizing weakness. The human heart carries immense burdens, pain from the past, regrets that haunt us, fears that paralyze us, and doubts that shake our faith. Pretending to be strong only prolongs the suffering, because it forces the heart to carry the weight alone. But the moment you acknowledge your weakness, you release the first portion of that burden. You give yourself permission to be human, to feel, to cry, to pray, and to hope. That release creates space for divine support to enter. It is in that space between acknowledgement and surrender that the heart finds healing, resilience, and the first sparks of genuine strength. Finally, recognizing your weakness allows you to approach life with humility, patience, and realistic expectations. It prevents arrogance, overconfidence, and the despair that comes from unmet expectations. When you accept your limits, you learn to rely not on fleeting human efforts alone, but on the one whose power is limitless, whose mercy is infinite, and whose timing is perfect. Weakness, when acknowledged, becomes a teacher, a guide, and a catalyst for transformation. It is the soil in which seeds of faith, perseverance, and resilience can grow. Without it, even the strongest outward appearances crumble when faced with true trials. With it, even the faintest whisper of faith can blossom into a life-changing connection with Allah. So, beloved brothers and sisters, do not fear your weakness. Do not hide it, ignore it, or fight it with false pride. Embrace it, confront it, and bring it before Allah in honest prayer. Say to yourself, I am weak, but you are strong. I am limited, but you are infinite. I cannot do this alone, but with you, everything is possible. In that recognition lies the doorway to strength, a strength that is not fleeting, not conditional, and not dependent on circumstances, but a strength rooted in faith, divine guidance, and the transformative power of heartfelt surrender. Remember, the journey to true strength always begins with a single honest step. The courageous act of recognizing your weakness and turning to the one who can lift it, heal it, and transform it into a power far greater than anything you could achieve on your own. If there is one thing in this life that holds immeasurable power, one act that can transform our hearts, uplift our spirits, and alter the course of our lives in ways that we cannot even begin to comprehend, it is the act of dua. Dua is not merely a ritual, nor is it simply a set of words we recite in moments of desperation. It is far greater than that. Dua is the language of the heart, the silent conversation between the servant and the Creator, a sacred connection that transcends time, space, and circumstance. When you make dua with sincerity, when your words are not just uttered from the lips, but spoken from the depths of your heart, it becomes a force that can change the impossible into possible, transform despair into hope, and breathe life into the weary soul. There is a power in heartfelt dua that cannot be measured by worldly standards, for it is not dependent on human understanding, logic, or timing. It is a direct line to the most merciful, the one who knows what lies in our hearts, the one who sees our struggles even before we give them a voice. Consider for a moment how often we turn to dua. Sometimes it is out of habit, a mere recitation of words we have memorized, seeking relief, blessings, or guidance, yet without fully engaging our hearts. And sometimes we turn to dua when all else fails, when the burdens of life become too heavy to bear, when hope seems distant, and our strength seems insufficient. But the true power of dua is only realized when it is heartfelt, when it is a genuine cry from the soul, an honest plea to Allah, without pretense, without distraction, and without doubt. It is in that sincerity that the heart is heard, and the mercy of Allah begins to flow. A heartfelt dua is like a spark in the darkness. It may appear small at first, but it has the potential to ignite a fire that illuminates even the most shadowed corners of our lives. It is a means through which the soul finds solace, guidance, and resilience in ways that no worldly remedy can provide. To understand this power, we must first recognize what dua truly is. Dua is not a mere request. It is an acknowledgement of our dependence on Allah, a declaration that we cannot manage our lives alone, and a recognition that the Creator knows our needs better than we do. When you turn to Allah with heartfelt supplication, You are admitting your limitations, your vulnerability, and your need for divine guidance. And it is in this admission that strength is born, because no one can lift a burden they refuse to acknowledge. By making dua, you are creating a bridge between your weakness and Allah's limitless power, a connection that transforms your helplessness into hope, your confusion into clarity, and your fear into courage. The stories of the prophets, peace be upon them, offer us profound lessons about the power of heartfelt dua. Prophet Musa, for instance, when faced with the immense challenge of confronting Pharaoh and guiding a people oppressed for generations, did not rely solely on his own intellect, courage, or skills. He turned to Allah in sincere supplication, asking for support, guidance, and strength. It was through that heartfelt dua that the mission became achievable, the fear manageable, and the path illuminated. Similarly, Prophet Yunus, trapped in the belly of the whale, called upon Allah with the most sincere plea, recognizing his own weakness and missteps. There is no deity except you. Exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers, he said. In that heartfelt cry, a connection was made, a mercy was opened, and a seemingly impossible situation was transformed into salvation. These examples remind us that heartfelt dua is not a last resort. It is a source of strength, a shield against despair, and a direct connection to the one who can change every circumstance. It is important to understand that the impact of heartfelt dua is not always immediate, nor is it always visible in the way we expect. Sometimes, Allah's response comes in forms we do not recognize at first, perhaps in the form of patience granted to endure trials, guidance in moments of confusion, or subtle changes in our hearts that prepare us for the blessings to come. And yet, their power remains undeniable. The very act of turning to Allah, of expressing our fears, hopes, and needs, brings peace to the heart, a clarity of mind, and a resilience that cannot be found in worldly solutions. It is like a tree whose roots grow deep and strong beneath the surface, unseen yet providing stability, nourishment, and life to every branch and leaf above. Heartfelt dua strengthens the soul in ways that the eye cannot see, preparing us to face life's challenges with renewed energy, hope, and faith. Let us also consider the psychological and emotional impact of heartfelt dua. When we speak to Allah with sincerity, we are, in essence, releasing the weight of our burdens. The act of verbalizing our struggles, fears, and desires allows us to confront them, rather than suppress them. It transforms internal chaos into structured hope, despair into expectation, and weakness into reliance on the divine. In this process, the heart becomes lighter, the mind clearer, and the spirit more resilient. The more sincere the supplication, the more profound the effect, because the heart begins to shift its focus from worldly limitations to the infinite possibilities available through Allah's mercy. The energy of a heartfelt dua is transformative. It heals the soul, aligns our intentions, and strengthens our resolve to act in ways that are pleasing to Allah while navigating the trials of life. Another critical aspect of heartfelt dua is the humility it cultivates. When we recognize that we cannot solve everything on our own, that our knowledge, power, and resources are limited, we turn in humility to the one who is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-merciful. This humility is not weakness, it is wisdom. It allows us to surrender our pride, to acknowledge our dependence on Allah, and to open ourselves to His guidance and provision. The moment humility enters the heart, the soul becomes receptive to divine support, and the seeds of inner strength begin to grow. No. It is through this humility, coupled with sincere intention, that dua becomes a force capable of transforming our lives, shaping our character, and instilling in us a resilience that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks or worldly trials. Heartfelt dua also strengthens our relationship with Allah in ways that no other act can. While prayer, charity, fasting, and other forms of worship are essential, dua is uniquely intimate. It is personal, direct, and unfiltered. It is a conversation in which we can express every emotion, every hope, and every fear without reservation. When the heart engages in this way, It experiences a closeness to Allah that cannot be replicated by routine or ritual alone. This closeness becomes a source of guidance, courage, and peace, allowing us to face life's challenges with confidence, knowing that we are never truly alone and that our struggles are always seen and understood by the one who created us. Moreover, heartfelt dua has the power to transform our perspective on life's trials. When we pray sincerely, our hearts begin to shift from focusing on obstacles to focusing on possibilities. Weakness no longer feels permanent. Fear no longer feels overwhelming. Despair no longer feels endless. Instead, we begin to see every difficulty as an opportunity for growth. Every trial is a chance to draw nearer to Allah, and every hardship is a reminder that His mercy is greater than any challenge we face. Heartfelt dua does not simply ask for relief. It cultivates patience, resilience, and hope, teaching us to trust in Allah's wisdom, timing, and provision. Finally, the beauty of heartfelt dua is that it is accessible to every one of us at any moment, in any circumstance. It does not require wealth, status, or education. It does not demand perfection, only sincerity. It is a gift freely available to every believer, a lifeline that can revive the weary heart, strengthen the faltering soul, and illuminate even the darkest moments of life. Every tear shed in sincere supplication, every whisper from the heart, every earnest plea is heard by Allah. Every heartfelt dua carries within it the potential for transformation, spiritual, emotional, and even worldly. It is a reminder that no matter how weak we feel, no matter how heavy our burdens or how lost we may seem, there is a direct connection to the most merciful, the one who can turn weakness into strength, despair into hope, and impossibility into reality. So, beloved brothers and sisters, if you are feeling weary, if life has burdened your heart, if weakness seems to overshadow your spirit, remember the power of heartfelt dua. Speak to Allah sincerely from the depths of your soul. Share your fears, your struggles, your hopes, and your dreams. Allow your heart to pour out its weight, its worries, and its desires. Trust that Allah hears you, that He sees you, and that He will respond in ways that are perfect, timely, and beyond your imagination. In that act of sincere supplication lies an immense power, a power that can transform your life, uplift your heart, and guide you through the storms of life with courage, faith, and unwavering hope. One of the greatest lessons we can learn in this life, yet one of the most difficult to truly internalize, is the art of trusting Allah's timing. How often do we find ourselves anxious, restless, or frustrated because the outcomes we desire do not arrive when we expect them to? We make plans, set goals, work tirelessly, and yet, despite all our efforts, life seems to move at its own pace, often leaving us bewildered and questioning, why is this taking so long? Why isn't this happening for me? In these moments, it is natural for the heart to feel weak, for despair to creep in, and for doubt to cloud our faith. But this is precisely where the power of trusting Allah's timing comes into play. The realization that while we may not understand the delays, detours, or obstacles in our lives, Allah sees the bigger picture, the unseen reality, and the wisdom behind every moment. When we trust His timing, we align our hearts with a divine plan far greater than our own, and we open ourselves to patience, resilience, and true strength. Consider the way the world functions. We understand that nature has its rhythms. The sun rises and sets at its appointed time. The seasons change in their ordained sequence, and the fruits we plant take months to mature before they can nourish us. Imagine if the fruit expected to grow overnight. How chaotic and incomplete the process would be. Similarly, our lives follow a rhythm that is perfectly orchestrated by Allah, the All-Wise, the All-Knowing. Every delay, every setback, every moment of waiting is not random, nor is it a sign of neglect or abandonment. It is preparation. It is shaping the circumstances, the character, and the heart in a way that makes the eventual blessing not only meaningful but sustainable. Trusting Allah's timing is more than patience. It is a deep, unwavering conviction that every delay has purpose, every trial has meaning, and every moment of waiting is a gift in disguise. Let us reflect on our own hearts. How often have we rushed, forced, or manipulated situations to suit our timelines, only to find that the outcomes were less than ideal? We chase opportunities that seem right in the moment, pursue relationships that feel urgent, or demand results that we deem necessary, forgetting that our perspective is limited. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, understands what we cannot see. He knows the consequences of our choices, the hidden dangers, the missed opportunities, and the blessings that are yet to come. When we trust His timing, we surrender the illusion of control and allow divine wisdom to guide our lives. This trust does not negate effort, planning, or action. It complements them, providing peace in our hearts even as we work diligently toward our goals. It transforms anxiety into hope and restlessness into patience. The Quran reminds us time and again of this principle. Allah says, "And it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and that you love a thing which is bad for you. Allah knows while you know not." This verse is a profound lesson for every believer struggling with delays and disappointments. Sometimes we perceive a delay as a setback or a rejection. Yet in reality, it is divine protection, a redirection towards something far greater than what we had imagined. Similarly, what we long for, what we desire with all our hearts, may not yet be ready for us because the time, the place, or the conditions are not yet aligned with what Allah has decreed for our ultimate good. When we trust His timing, we allow ourselves to step back, breathe, and place our concerns in the hands of the one who knows best, while continuing to act with sincerity and diligence. Consider the stories of the prophets, peace be upon them, and how they exemplified trust in divine timing. Prophet Yusuf, despite being betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he did not commit, never lost faith in Allah's plan. Every moment of hardship, every delay, every injustice was a part of a greater design that eventually led him to a position of immense power, influence, and purpose. His trust in Allah's timing transformed what could have been despair into patience, what could have been bitterness into forgiveness, and what could have been weakness into unwavering faith. Similarly, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced years of rejection, hardship, and struggle before the message of Islam was fully established. Yet, he trusted in Allah's timing, remaining steadfast in patience, prayer, and perseverance, knowing that every trial was a step toward a greater outcome. Their examples teach us that trusting Allah's timing is not passive resignation. It is active patience, continuous effort, and unwavering reliance on the divine, even when the world around us seems uncertain or discouraging. Trusting Allah's timing also has a profound effect on our emotional and mental well-being. Anxiety, stress, and restlessness often arise from the illusion that we are in control of every outcome, that life must follow our personal timeline. By surrendering to divine timing, we release that burden, allowing our hearts to experience peace and contentment. We begin to see that delays are not denials, obstacles are not punishments, and detours are not failures. Instead, they are part of a process that shapes our character, strengthens our faith, and prepares us for blessings that are far more aligned with our ultimate good. Every moment of waiting becomes a lesson in patience, gratitude, and trust. Every delay teaches resilience and refines our perspective, reminding us that Allah's wisdom is infinite and His knowledge is beyond comprehension. Moreover, trusting Allah's timing fosters a sense of hope that is unshakable. When we understand that every moment is part of a divine plan, we no longer despair when things do not unfold according to our expectations. Instead, we learn to embrace life's uncertainties with courage, knowing that there is a purpose behind every challenge, every setback, and every moment of waiting. This hope is not passive. It motivates us to continue striving, praying, and acting with sincerity, while maintaining confidence that the outcomes will arrive at the perfect time. It transforms weakness into patience, anxiety into faith, and doubt into unwavering reliance on Allah's mercy. Another dimension of trusting Allah's timing is recognizing the unseen blessings that delays bring. Sometimes we wish for something immediately because we believe it will bring us happiness, success, or relief. Yet in that very delay, Allah may be protecting us from harm, teaching us patience, or redirecting us towards something even greater than what we had envisioned. Life is full of such hidden wisdom, and trusting in Allah's timing allows us to perceive challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities, trials not as punishments, but as lessons, and delays not as rejections, but as divine preparation. It is the unseen power, the spiritual resilience, and the inner fortitude that determines whether we crumble or rise. True strength is cultivated not in moments of comfort or ease, but in the crucible of adversity, when every fiber of our being is tested. It is in these moments that the believer discovers a deeper power, a source of energy beyond the flesh, fueled by faith, trust in Allah, and unwavering perseverance. We find countless examples of this in the lives of the prophets. Think of Prophet Ayyub, peace be upon him, who endured unimaginable suffering, losing his health, wealth, and family, yet remained steadfast, patient, and faithful. What sustained him was not physical stamina, but spiritual strength, a heart connected to Allah, and a soul resilient in the face of hardship. His strength was not measured by what he could endure in body alone, but by the depth of his patience, his unwavering reliance on the Creator, and his ability to maintain hope when everything around him seemed lost. This is the strength beyond physical limits, the ability to endure, to persevere, and to remain faithful when life tests every aspect of our being. We often underestimate the power of the heart and the mind in shaping our resilience. Physical strength can be exhausted, muscles can tire, and stamina can fade, but the heart, when rooted in faith, can endure far more than the body ever could. Emotional strength allows us to navigate heartbreak, loss, and disappointment with dignity and patience. Spiritual strength allows us to rise from despair, maintain hope, and continue striving for goodness, even when obstacles appear insurmountable. When these inner forces combine, they create a resilience that no external circumstance can break. It is this inner power that allows a weak body to continue working, a tired mind to keep learning, and a weary soul to keep praying. Let us reflect on our own lives. How many times have we faced situations where we felt physically exhausted, mentally drained, emotionally overwhelmed, yet found the ability to push forward, to persevere, and to rise above the challenge? That is a glimpse of the strength beyond physical limits. It is the strength that does not depend on how much sleep we got, how much energy we feel, or how capable we think we are. It is the strength that comes from relying on Allah, seeking His guidance, and turning to Him in sincere prayer, knowing that true power is granted by the One who created the heavens and the earth. When we connect our hearts to Allah, our energy is renewed, our courage is restored, and our capacity to endure expands far beyond what we thought possible. The beauty of this strength lies in its universality. It is not reserved for the physically fit, the wealthy, or the learned. It is available to every believer, regardless of age, circumstance, or ability. The weak in the eyes of the world can possess a power far greater than those who appear strong. A small child praying with sincerity, a patient widow facing hardship, a believer struggling with illness, yet maintaining faith. All of them demonstrate a strength that surpasses the limits of flesh and blood. This strength is cultivated through patience, reliance on Allah, consistent worship, and heartfelt dua. It is reinforced every time we turn to Him in times of difficulty, every time we choose to forgive when wronged, and every time we persevere in doing good despite challenges. Now, we also need to understand that physical limitations often highlight the presence of this greater strength. When we feel weak, vulnerable, or incapable, it is an invitation from Allah to tap into a deeper reservoir of resilience. Our challenges are not meant to break us. They are meant to awaken us to a strength we did not know existed. Just as a metal is purified and strengthened in fire, our inner power is forged through trials, tested through patience, and polished through faith. It is through recognizing our dependence on Allah and seeking His support that this strength manifests in ways that defy human expectation. Emotional and spiritual resilience is another vital component of strength beyond physical limits. Life's greatest trials are often not physical. They are emotional, mental, and spiritual. Loss of loved ones, betrayal, financial hardship, or persistent setbacks can sap our energy, leaving us feeling powerless. Yet when we connect our hearts to Allah, seek His help, and place our trust in His wisdom, we discover a wellspring of strength that sustains us. A believer can endure loss with patience, heartbreak with dignity, and uncertainty with hope. This is the true measure of strength, not what we can lift, but what we can bear with faith, courage, and reliance on Allah. Moreover, strength beyond physical limits empowers us to inspire others. A person who perseveres through hardship, remains patient in trials, and maintains faith in Allah's mercy becomes a beacon of hope. Their strength, rooted in faith and spiritual resilience, has the power to uplift those around them. It is contagious, motivating, and transformative. When others witness someone navigating life's challenges with unwavering reliance on Allah, they are reminded that strength is not about physical might. It is about faith, patience, and resilience in the face of adversity. It is important to remember that this strength is nurtured through consistent effort and sincere connection with Allah. Prayer, dua, remembrance of Allah, patience in trials, and gratitude for blessings are all tools that cultivate this inner power. Every act of worship, every moment of patience, every sincere plea to Allah strengthens the soul, expands the heart, and reinforces the resilience that lies beyond the body. This is why believers can endure hardships that seem impossible, rise from failures that would break others, and maintain hope even when the world appears bleak. Brothers and sisters, reflect on the times you felt physically exhausted, yet found the ability to continue because your heart was determined, your faith was strong, and your soul refused to surrender. That is the strength beyond physical limits. Consider the countless moments when perseverance, patience, and reliance on Allah carried you further than physical ability ever could. This strength is not always visible, but it is real, enduring, and transformative. It allows us to rise above challenges, navigate trials with dignity, and maintain hope in the darkest moments of life. Finally, understand that true strength is a gift from Allah. It is granted not according to human standards, but according to divine wisdom. The believer who recognizes that strength comes from the Creator, not merely from the body or intellect, can achieve feats that seem impossible. They can endure trials, inspire others, and navigate life with resilience and faith. They understand that while the body may tire, the soul, fueled by faith, patience, and reliance on Allah, can endure endlessly. This is the strength that surpasses physical limits, transforms weakness into power, and allows us to face life's greatest challenges with courage, dignity, and unwavering trust in the most merciful. Beloved brothers and sisters, if you ever feel weak, exhausted, or incapable, remember that your true strength is not measured by physical ability, but by the depth of your faith, the resilience of your heart, and the sincerity of your reliance on Allah. Tap into this unseen power, cultivate it through prayer and patience, and watch as your life is transformed. Weakness will become courage, despair will become hope, and limitations will be overcome by a strength that transcends the human body, the mind, and even circumstance itself. Embrace this truth, rely on Allah, and let your inner power shine, for this is the strength that will carry you through every trial, every test, and every challenge of life. Life is filled with moments that test our resolve, challenge our faith, and leave our hearts heavy with uncertainty. There are times when we wake up and feel lost, unsure of which direction to take, which decision is correct, or how to navigate the storm raging around us. When we are faced with difficult choices, complex problems, or moments of emotional turmoil, the process of seeking clarity strengthens the heart and mind. By turning to Allah, engaging in dua, reflecting on the Quran, and seeking counsel from wise and knowledgeable individuals, we gradually discern the right path. Each moment of uncertainty becomes a lesson in patience, humility, and trust. The heart that seeks guidance sincerely learns to navigate life with wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. It is also important to understand that clarity often comes gradually. It may not arrive instantly, and sometimes Allah allows the heart to wrestle with uncertainty, to strengthen faith, sharpen discernment, and cultivate reliance on Him. Patience in these moments is essential. Rushing decisions, acting impulsively, or forcing outcomes can lead to mistakes, disappointment, or regret. True clarity is accompanied by calm reflection and trust that Allah's guidance will manifest at the right time. The believer learns to balance action with patience, effort with reliance, and seeking with surrender. Another crucial aspect of clarity is self-awareness. In moments of confusion, we must examine our intentions, desires, and fears. Often, confusion arises from conflicting emotions, attachments, or unrealistic expectations. By reflecting inwardly and seeking Allah's guidance, we distinguish between what is beneficial and what is harmful, what aligns with faith and what may lead us astray. This process requires honesty, humility, and courage, for it may reveal uncomfortable truths about ourselves, our choices, or our priorities. Yet, it is precisely this introspection, combined with sincere supplication, that allows clarity to emerge. Heartfelt dua plays a central role in attaining clarity. When we pour our hearts out to Allah, expressing our fears, uncertainties, and hopes, we invite divine insight into our lives. A dua made sincerely, without distraction, and with full trust in Allah's wisdom can illuminate decisions, ease mental turmoil, and calm emotional turbulence. It is through these conversations with the Creator that the mind finds focus, the heart finds peace, and the soul finds direction. The act of turning to Allah, acknowledging our limitations, and seeking His guidance transforms confusion into understanding, chaos into order, and doubt into certainty. Clarity in moments of confusion also strengthens faith. When the heart experiences the guidance of Allah, even amid uncertainty, the believer gains confidence in divine wisdom, patience, and timing. Challenges and setbacks no longer shake faith. Instead, they become opportunities to witness Allah's support, mercy, and provision. Over time, the heart learns that clarity is not merely about understanding external circumstances, but about aligning with divine purpose, making decisions rooted in faith, and acting with conviction, knowing that Allah's wisdom surpasses all human comprehension. Emotional clarity is equally important. When confusion clouds the heart, anxiety, fear, and doubt can take root. By seeking Allah's guidance through prayer, reflection, and remembrance, the heart experiences calm. Emotional clarity allows us to respond to challenges thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It cultivates patience, resilience, and hope, enabling the believer to navigate uncertainty with courage and faith. The heart becomes a compass, guided not by fleeting emotions or human desire, but by the light of divine guidance. Furthermore, clarity empowers action. Confusion often paralyzes the believer, preventing meaningful decisions and progress. When clarity arrives through divine guidance, reflection, and heartfelt dua, it not only provides understanding but also motivates decisive, purposeful action. The believer moves forward with confidence, knowing that decisions are rooted in faith, informed by wisdom, and guided by Allah's mercy. In this way, clarity transforms uncertainty into empowerment, hesitation into courage, and weakness into proactive strength. Finally, clarity in moments of confusion teaches humility and reliance on Allah. It reminds us that human understanding is limited, that life is complex, and that divine wisdom encompasses all. The heart that seeks clarity from Allah learns to surrender ego, trust divine guidance, and act with sincerity. This humility is not weakness, it is strength to admit what we do not know, the courage to seek help, and the wisdom to align our choices with faith. Through this process, confusion becomes a stepping stone to growth, guidance, and resilience. Beloved brothers and sisters, if you find yourself lost, uncertain, or overwhelmed by the complexity of life, remember this. Clarity is not always immediate, but it is available to those who sincerely seek it. Turn to Allah in heartfelt dua. Reflect on your heart and intentions. Be patient and trust His guidance. Every moment of confusion can be transformed into understanding. every moment of uncertainty into divine insight, and every moment of doubt into strength and faith. When you seek clarity through Allah, you illuminate your path, calm your heart, and empower your soul to navigate life with wisdom, courage, and unwavering trust in the most merciful. There are moments in life when weakness feels overwhelming. The heart feels heavy, the spirit seems fragile, and every step forward appears impossible. It is in these moments that many of us question ourselves, asking why we are struggling, why we feel inadequate, or why the weight of life seems too great to bear. Yet within this very weakness lies an opportunity, an invitation to discover a strength that surpasses physical ability, mental capacity, or worldly resources. This transformation, from vulnerability to resilience, from despair to empowerment, occurs when we turn to Allah in sincere dua. Dua is not just a ritual or a set of recited words. It is the ultimate source of inner power, a direct conversation with the Creator that can transform the deepest weakness into unwavering strength. Weakness is not a sign of failure. It is a reminder of human limitations. Every individual experiences moments of doubt, fear, and fatigue. These feelings are natural, yet they are also an invitation to reconnect with Allah, to acknowledge our dependence on Him, and to seek His guidance and support. When we recognize that true strength does not come from our own efforts alone, but from the one who created us, we open the door to transformation. Dua becomes a bridge between human vulnerability and divine power, allowing the heart to rise above limitations and the soul to find resilience. The process of transforming weakness through dua begins with honesty. It requires acknowledging the struggles we face, the fears that grip our hearts, and the burdens that weigh us down. This honesty is not weakness, it is courage. It is the courage to admit that we cannot manage everything on our own, that we are in need of help far greater than what the world can provide. By turning to Allah with this sincerity, the heart begins to release its fear, the mind finds clarity, and the spirit is uplifted. It is in these moments that dua becomes a powerful tool, not only asking for strength, but also cultivating it within the heart. History and scripture provide countless examples of individuals whose weakness was transformed into extraordinary strength through divine reliance. Prophet Yunus, trapped in the belly of the whale, faced isolation, fear, and the apparent impossibility of survival. His physical and emotional weakness could have led to despair, yet he called upon Allah with sincerity, acknowledging his mistake, seeking forgiveness, and relying on divine mercy. In response, Allah delivered him from the depths of the sea, demonstrating that sincere supplication can turn the deepest weakness into salvation and resilience. Similarly, Prophet Ayub endured immense trials, losing his health, wealth, and family, but he never lost faith. His repeated turning to Allah in dua and patience ultimately led to restoration and blessings, showing that weakness, when coupled with divine reliance, becomes a pathway to strength. Dua works to transform weakness not only by seeking help, but by fundamentally reshaping the heart. When we consistently turn to Allah in sincere supplication, the heart begins to draw strength from divine connection. The act of acknowledging our dependence, expressing our fears, and asking for support reinforces resilience. Over time, what once seemed insurmountable becomes manageable. Despair is replaced with hope, and the soul develops endurance beyond the limits of flesh and mind. This transformation is not instantaneous. It is a process nurtured by patience, faith, and continuous engagement with Allah. An essential element of this transformation is the shift from self-reliance to divine reliance. Human beings naturally attempt to solve problems with their own understanding, resources, and abilities. Yet, true power emerges when we surrender the illusion of total control and allow Allah to guide our path. Weakness, when acknowledged and presented to Allah through dua, becomes a catalyst for spiritual and emotional growth. The very act of asking for help strengthens the heart, instills humility, and cultivates courage. The believer learns that reliance on Allah is not a sign of inadequacy, but a source of immense power, capable of overcoming any obstacle. Dua also transforms weakness by providing clarity and focus. When the heart is burdened by challenges, fear, or confusion, weakness often arises from uncertainty and mental exhaustion. In sincere supplication, the believer finds guidance, direction, and reassurance. The mind becomes clear, the heart calm, and the soul energized. This clarity allows the individual to act with confidence, make wise decisions, and persevere in the face of adversity. The transformation is both internal and external. The inner strength cultivated through dua manifests in practical action, resilience, and a renewed sense of purpose. Over time, this consistent reliance on Allah cultivates a strength that is unshakable, enduring, and capable of overcoming even the most formidable challenges. Dua also nurtures courage in moments of weakness. Rather, it is an active choice to trust in Allah's plan, even when circumstances seem bleak. This hope is cultivated through reflection, prayer, and reliance on the most merciful. Instead of seeing hardship as punishment or misfortune, the believer begins to view challenges as opportunities for spiritual development, character refinement, and proximity to Allah. Each difficulty becomes a test of faith, a chance to practice patience, and an occasion to seek divine guidance. Consistency transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary power, ordinary routines into spiritual strength, and ordinary hearts into sources of light, hope, and inspiration. Many people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. Trust is strengthened, reliance becomes instinctive, and the heart becomes steadfast. The believer no longer wavers in the face of difficulty, but instead approaches challenges with faith, clarity, and courage, knowing that consistency in devotion ensures divine support, guidance, and blessing. It reminds the believer that greatness is not always achieved in moments of intensity, but through small, persistent, faithful actions repeated day after day. By nurturing consistency, the heart finds stability, the mind gains clarity, and the soul develops endurance.